निर्गुण और न्यारे, तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। हमरी उलझन सुलझाओ भगवन, तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। तुम्हें हमका संभाले, तुम्हें हमरे रखवाले, तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। तुम्हें बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं, तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं।
जो सुनो तो कहें प्रभु जी हमरी है बिनती, दुखी जन को धीरज दो, हारे नहीं वो कभी दुख से। तुम निर्बल को रक्षा दो, रह पाए निर्बल सुख से। भक्ति को शक्ति दो, भक्ति को शक्ति दो। जग के जो स्वामी हो, इतनी तो अरज सुनो। है पथ में अंधियारे, दे दो वरदान में उजियारे। ओ पालनहारे निर्गुण और न्यारे, तुमरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। हमरी उलझन सुलझाओ भगवन, तुमरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं।
ओ पालनहारे निर्गुण और न्यारे, तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। हमरी उलझन सुलझाओ भगवन, तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। ओ पालनहारे ओ पालनहारे, ओ पालनहारे। निर्गुण नारे। हो पालनहारे निर्गुण न्यारे, तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। हमरी उलझन सुलझाओ भगवन, तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। तुम्हें हमका हो संभाले, तुम्हें हमरे रखवाले, तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। तुम्हें बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। चंदा में तुम्हें तो भरे हो चांदनी, सूरज में उजाला तुम्हें से। ये गगन है मगन, तुम्हें तो दिए हो इसे तारे भगवन। ये जीवन तुम्हें न सवारोगे तो क्या कोई सवारे। ओ पालनहारे निर्गुण न्यारे, तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। तुम्हरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं।
जो सुनो तो कहें प्रभु जी हमरी है बिनती, दुखी जन को धीरज दो, हारे नहीं वो कभी दुख से। तुम निर्बल को रक्षा दो, रह पाए निर्बल सुख से। भक्ति को शक्ति दो, जग के जो स्वामी हो, इतनी तो अरज सुनो। है पथ में अंधियारे, दे दो वरदान में उजियारे। ओ पालनहारे निर्गुण और न्यारे, तुमरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं। हमरी उलझन सुलझाओ भगवन, तुमरे बिन हमरा कोनो नहीं।
ओ पालनहारे निर्गुण न्यारे, तुम्हरे बिन। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम, हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
सर्वतीर्थसमायुक्तं सुगन्धि निर्मलं जलं जलाशमनिं परिगृह्णामि drink the waters. Om Sri Achyutaya Namaha. Drink. Yeah. Drink again. Om Sri Keshavaya Namaha. One more time. Om Shri Madhavaya Namaha. Wash back your hands. See your stomach chala. Alright, you have napkins, towels, anything, no? They'll give you, they'll bring some for your soup. Kalai, you have paper towels, no? Paper towel. Paper towel. Right. Push more silver, push more jack, push aggression to the rock, push it. So I'm going to put chandan for you, right? Notice how I put in chandan upwards for you and where I started and where I finishing, right? When you put in chandan on the pit here, it's because you do the opposite direction.
Done.
Right.
I gotta do that.
So you can the chandan and the gym, then the hadiam, someone will do it to sleep, chandan break down. Yes, downwards. Thank you. Forget the light. After the line, forget the light. Open your eyes. Very good. Come on. You just stand facing east and right side of the individual now, where you can see the picture too. प्रेम सोल से अरे माँ पितृ भगवान की जय राम नाम सत्य है यही सबका घट है. So devotees at this point in time, we would like to begin, I would like to begin with the Anteshi Sanskar or the funeral ceremony for the beloved member of your family, Aljero Bhim. At this point in time, I ask that we all please stand. Today is the 6th of December in year 2021, and we are all present at the home of Das Funeral Services. Because of so many different conditions and so many different things, it's because today we are obliged to bid farewell to Aljero in this manner because of time, place and condition. And you all are related to the individual in some way or the other. This is a relationship materially that you all have. Some of you all are brothers, sisters, uncles, nephews, nieces, neighbors. So many different relationships will be shared with this individual. But universally, we all share a relationship with God. And to this God that we all know in whatever way, by whatever name, in whatever way, by whatever form. At this point in time, let us clasp hands, let us close our eyes, as we ask of permission of the Divine Lord to be able to perform this here, the final rites, the Anteshi Sanskar. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Saraswatyai Namah. Om Shri Gurave Namah. Om Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanta Divyai Sthavai Vedai Sangha Parikramo Panishadai Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyana Vasati Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yashyantam Navidusura Surgana Devaya तस्मै नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अरे माँ पिता भगवान की जय। राम नाम सत्य है, यही सबका घट है। Devotees, please have your seats. Offer the flowers. Devotees, this here ceremony that we refer to as the Enteshi Sanskar is the last amongst the 16 Sanskars that we go through during the course of our lifetime as we live. The Sanskars are major points, or Sanskars are actually major turning points in our lives. And these are very, very important points in our lifetime. So life begins with the inhalation of breath, the very first breath. Life begins. And we begin living this life, this time that we are born on this particular day, when we take that first breath in this world. Even though we might be 9 months in our mother's womb before then, or 7 months or 8 months, it's because we are only actually alive when we take this breath. And when this last breath is taken away from us, we become dead. It is termed dead. The 5 elements, earth, fire, water, space, and air, these 5 elements, they come from all around us. And eventually they'll go back to where they come from. But the purpose of today's ceremony, as you say, the Enteshi Sanskar, is to ask of the Divine Lord that if while this soul was within the body of Aljero, that he would have committed, or that any errors would have been committed, that our prayers this afternoon will purify the elements, and that with open arms, these energies, these forms of the Divine Lord will embrace the elements once more. And as the soul continues the journey, today our prayer to the Divine Lord is that Bhagwan will guide that soul on his journey. In traditional funerals, it's because we are allowed to put chandan and perfume and flowers and all these different things in an open coffin. But because of conditions, it's because we work with a pitya. And this pitya representing the individual, we ask you, Bhagwan, to do justice to the form that is inside. The very first thing we do is we ask that the remains be purified with the sprinkling of water 5 times. Om, take your name, take your brother's name, and say Krishna Arpanam. Om Amuk Gotrasya Amuk Pretasya Preta Tattva Nivarthaya Sargati Vinasharthaya Sargati Uttam Lok Prapti Kamaha Jalasnanam Diyate Tao Pratishtam 3 times. Both times. As we begin to beautify, we place the chandan on the pitya, ring finger, coming downwards. Om Amuk Gotrasya Amuk Pretasya Preta Tattva Nivarthaya Sargati Vinasharthaya Yamanatya. Put the chandan supposed to be down. No, I just have a good idea. Adya Amuk Gotrasya Amuk Pretasya Preta Tattva Nivarthaya Sargati Vinasharthaya Sargati. They put back again and make one smooth movement. One smooth movement coming on the road. Amukha Gotrasya Amukha Pretasya Preta Tattva Nivarthaya Sargati Vinasharthaya Sargati Uttam Loka Prapti Kamaha Chandanaka Bhushanam Diyate Tao Pratishtam Chandanaka Bhushanam Diyate Tao Pratishtam Adya Amukha Gotrasya Amukha Pretasya Preta Tattva Nivarthaya Sargati Vinasharthaya Sargati Uttam Loka Prapti Kamaha Gandham Diyate Tao Pratishtam Gandham Diyate Tao Pratishtam. अद्य मुख गोत्रस्य मुख प्रेतस्य प्रेत तत्व निवार्थाय सगति विनाशार्थाय सद्गति उत्तम लोक प्राप्ति कामः पुष्पमाला दीयते तव प्रतिष्ठिताम्. Would you all please stand? After Andrew is completed doing arti, if any one of you all who would like to come and put a chandan and offer perfume and flowers and arti, feel free to do so, alright? Hari Om Amukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Preta Tattva Nivarthaya Sagati Vinasharthaya Sadgati Uttam Loka Prapti Kamaha Deepam Diyate Tao Pratishtam 5 times. Walk around the body now 5 times. Amukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Preta Tattva Nivarthaya Sagati Vinasharthaya Sagati Uttam Loka Prapti Kamaha Deepam Diyate Tao Pratishtam Deepam diyate tao patishtatam. Om Jai Krishna Hare Shri Krishna Hare Dukhiyon ko dukh dur kare Jai 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 Krishna Hare Jai Krishna Hare Shri Krishna Hare दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे. जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूध किनारा हो. जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूध किनारा हो. और कोई न खेवन हारा हो. Anybody want to come and offer chandan and perfume and so on? फिर तू ही बेड़ा पार करो जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण हरे. दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे. तेरे दर्शन को मैं तरफ रहा तेरा नाम की माला जपती रहूं. तेरे दर्शन को मैं तरफ रहा तेरा नाम की माला जपती रहूं. भवसागर से मोरी नैया भवसागर से मोरी नैया क्षण में जाए किनारा हो क्षण में जाए किनारा हो. जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण हरे. दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे. तेरे दर्शन को मैं तरफ रहा तेरा नाम की माला जपती रहूं. तेरे दर्शन को मैं तरफ रहा तेरा नाम की माला जपती रहूं. भवसागर से मोरी नैया भवसागर से मोरी नैया क्षण में जाए किनारा हो क्षण में जाए किनारा हो. जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण हरे. दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे. दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे. हरि ओम. ज्योति जन्मगवाया साधु ज्योति जन्मगवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया एक पिता के हम सब लड़की धरती हमारे माता एक पिता के हम सब लड़की धरती हमारे माता उत्तम कबीला संगन साथी उत्तम कबीला संगन साथी काल जन कब जाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया दो दिन का पहुनाई जगत में माया में भरमाया दो दिन का पहुनाई जगत में माया में भरमाया धन दौलत कछु काम न आवे धन दौलत कछु काम न आवे छूटी गई यह काया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया दो दिन का पहुनाई जगत में सत्संग के गंगा बही है कोमल जिसकी धारा सत्संग के गंगा बही है कोमल जिसकी धारा करिय स्नान विमल कर काया करिय स्नान विमल कर काया पापी न पार कराया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु ज्योति जन्म गवाया. So amongst the two bhajans that would have been sung, the very first one says to us, Jyoti, the very first was Jai Krishna Hare Shri Krishna Hare, Dukhiyo ko dukh dur kare Jai 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 Krishna. The Lord, O Divine Lord Bhagavan Shri Krishna, only you alone is deserving of praises. Yes, we will thank individuals from time to time for their part, the part that they play in our lives, and we should be grateful and thankful. And the expression of gratitude is what we do and how we do what we do by receiving from others. But praises, the ultimate praise, should be going to the Divine Lord Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Dukhiyo ko dukh dur kare Jai 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 Krishna. Bhagavan, only you alone can relate to our situation. Each and every one of us, our situations are unique. You're a father, he's a father, that young boy might be a father too. You know what I mean? I am a father. But our situations are unique. The way we interact and the way we deal with our children, the way they grow with us, it's all unique. Bhagwan is similar. Bhagwan's relationship with us is a unique one. Bhagwan knows everything about us. There's nothing that he can hide. He can relate to what you're going through. Jauchar Taraf and Dihara, there are 4 stages of life, and sometimes we wonder, if we would ever make it through these 4 stages. Like this young individual, 40 years of age, we wonder what life had in store for him. But really and truly what life had in store for him, he would have achieved and he would have attained. This day was ordained. No one of us is to question what the Divine Lord does and what happens and what we go through. There's no question. You can ask questions, but again, when we get the answers, but we have to accept them. And the questions that we ask, we will ask over the course of time. Many of these questions, the answers we already know. So it's but redundant questions. Why this is to happen? Why that is to happen? Why next is to happen? Why you? Today it's you, your brother, but tomorrow is somebody else's brother. And after tomorrow it will be somebody else's father. And the questions will continue. But the simple answer to all of it is that what is born must die. What comes into existence was always in existence in another form. But it came into existence for us. It served a purpose and a time, and then it went out of existence, certain things. Where did it go? Where did it come from? We never question that. We question where it go, yes. We didn't question where it come from, but we accept everything that happens all in between. So the G, the generating aspect of God, is but creation. We are only caught up in the operations of life, the O aspect of God. And yes, we would see the D, the dissolving aspect of God over the course of time. We wouldn't see everything being created. We wouldn't see everything that is being operated. We wouldn't see everything that is being destroyed or dissolved, but we have a part to play in God's work. The generating, the operating, and the dissolving aspect of the divine Lord. And God reassures us that He will be there, that divine Lord will be there for us over the course of these 4 stages of life. Childhood, marital, pre-retirement, and total retirement. These 4 stages. But we must reassure ourselves that God is taking us through these. Bhagwan knows all. Sometimes a situation like this, can be very much poisonous, or it can be like nectar. It's according to how we take ourselves, how we carry ourselves through thereafter. A poisonous situation can be transformed into a nectarian one. A nectarian situation can be transformed into a poisonous one. Sometimes, a simple example, poisonous. Sometimes this tongue of ours, we mean to say good things and to say the best things for others, but the way it come out and the way it is heard is like poison to some people's ears. And then sometimes it's because we say the wrong things, the bad things, and it comes out like nectar to others. What do you mean by nectar? It's because Tulsidas, who is the author of the Sri Ramcharitamanas, the Ramayana, is because he heard nectar coming from his wife's mouth. At one point in time, he cherished the figure of his wife and her body. And because she left his home, because she left his house and his home, and she went back to her marital, to her maternal home with her brother, to spend a night, Tulsidas, he couldn't bear to spend the night without his wife. And he went crossing big rivers and streams and floods and so on. It even says, so the scripture states that he held a snake to climb up to go to the room of his wife. And when he reached there, and he presented himself before her, it's because with loving words, words that is beautiful, because no woman should be using harsh words. She used beautiful words and she said to Tulsi, his name was Rambola at that point in time. She says, you've left so far to come here for this body of mine. And this body really and truly, it serves a material purpose. But greater than the material purpose is the spiritual purpose of life. And, if you are to have love for the divine Lord, just an iota of how much you love this body of mine, then really and truly you will be a different person. She's saying to him, he leave all about the place to come to meet his wife on a stormy night, and she telling him that he's supposed to have love for God and this kind of thing. Just imagine for his wife to embrace him and to say, boy, come drink a cup of coffee and and we go and take and sleep together. She telling him otherwise. But these words that was said to Tulsi, to Rambola at that point in time, it was in one way like poison, yes, but it was nectar to his ears, because really and truly it led him to the path of devotion that eventually he became the author of the world's greatest epic, the Sri Ramcharitamanas. So we can reassure ourselves, that that poison can be transformed into nectar, alongside God is involved in our lives. The offering of the water to purify, the chandan to beautify, the flowers to garland, and the arati that would have been waved. The arati symbolizes that light and that pathway that we ask of Bhagwan to light up for the departed as he journeys towards the divine abode. Devotees, as I said before, the body is made up of 5 elements, and these 5 pindas that we are about to offer, it is symbolical of the energy that makes the element present for us, that presents these elements. We're going to offer these pindas and we're going to pray and ask that the energy that controls the earth, the air, the fire, the water, and the space, that if ever Aljero will have made any mistakes, if he will have polluted in any way, that he be forgiven, and that the remains that is before us, that they be purified and accepted with open arms. So at this point in time, his brother Andrew will make the first offering. I want to take in your name, take in your brother's name, and say Krishna Pranam. Amuka Gotra, Samuka Preta, Sapreta, Twaniwad, Hasagadi Short, Hasagati, Muka Prapti Kamaha, Esham Te Pindanam Diete, Tau Pratishtama Foike, and bow 3 times. Right on top of the left hand, to the waterfall, on top of the pinda, right? Amuka Gotra, Samuka Preta, Sapilanjali Danam Diete, Tau Pratishtama. Right. So the first pinda ideally should be offered at the home where the individual lived and where the ceremony is performed. And then the second pinda, ideally, take your name, take your brother's name, and offer it. Amuka Gotra, Samuka Preta, Sapreta, Twaniwata, Sagadivina, Shata, Dvikete Pindanam Diete, Tau Pratishtama. Tilanjali Danam Diete, Tau Pratishtama. And the second pinda ideally should be offered at the gateway. You know, when we just about to put the body into the hearse at home. You know, when you finish the ceremony and we're leaving from home, it's because you make a stop at the gateway, at the doorway. The third pinda that we offer, Amuka Gotra, Samuka Preta, Sapreta, Twaniwata, Sagadivina, Shadhaya, Sagadita, Muka Prapti, Kamatitya, Tipinanam, Diete, Upanishtam, Tilanjali Danam, Diete, Upanishtam. The third pinda, ideally again, scriptural injunctions should be offered at a furrow junction. When I say a coach stop on a furrow junction, you buy take out the box and the pinda by it. Anytime recently? No. So this says for the third pinda. The fourth pinda is when you reach at the entrance of the cremation site. Amuka Gotra, Samuka Preta, Sapreta, Twaniwata, Sagadivina, Shadhaya, Chautam Te Pindanam, Diete, Upanishtam, Tilanjali Danam, Diete, Tau Pratishtama. When you reach the entrance of the cremation site, the fourth pinda should be ideally offered. And then the fifth pinda, Amuka Gotra, Samuka Preta, Pancham Te Pindanam Diete, Tau Pratishtama, Tilanjali Danam Diete, Tau Pratishtama. And the fifth pinda ideally would be offered on the ground, just where the chitta is, as we are about to put the body into the fire. The fifth pinda. Now, 2 pindas are offered, sometimes one at the home where the ceremony takes place, and then we have one at the home and one at the doorway. These are the 2 pindas. But then when we reach by the cremation site, by the creek, I am not condemning anybody and any barber, follow me this much, but then when we reach by the creek now, it's because we take out the body, we do the necessary offering, the water, the chandan, the water, the arti, and the pinda. First pinda when we reach there. So it's 2 and 1 3. And we just still make 5 stops going down the road. Why are we still making the 5 stops? It is but just an act, a show. Because 5 stops isn't the reason why you make 5 stops is to offer the pindas. So if you made 2 already, when you reach by the cremation site, it's because it's 3 offerings. You make 1 somewhere in the center 4, and then when you reach by the chitta itself, you make the 5th stop. So 5 stops, but again, sometimes you still make the 5 stops going on the road. I'm not condemning, follow me this much as I say, but the understanding of why we make these offerings is important. And ideally today we would have made these 5 pinda offerings here at this point in time, understanding that these conditions don't exist for us. So the offering of the pindas and the asking of the energies to accept them, we have done very much humbly. At this point in time, we have
My name is Carissa Ramnath, and I would be reading a eulogy on behalf of Aljero's siblings who could not be here today. There is a different outpouring of love for the last child in any family. And being the last of 11 children, Jero, Al, or Handsome as he was called, was the true meaning of spoiled rotten. There were countless times when we would run to mommy to tell on him, and we would end up being the ones running in the opposite direction to avoid getting licks. He was never wrong. It was always his favorite show, his turn to pick the game. His turn for anything always came quicker than anyone else's. When walking out the road to get a taxi, we were always faced with a lesson in words and their meanings, spelling, or our most hated mental maths. As the years passed on, Jero would go on to join the cadets, and it was here that the transition came, where he asserted himself meticulously to all his tasks, especially when it came to the brasso and silver. The shining and polishing took hours. His persistence paid off as he went on to become a qualified civil engineer. The sense of pride his siblings felt of his volunteering service with the Islamic Home, where he mentored as a big brother, was a powerful and proud moment. Skateboard days was when his collection of tools began to grow. It went from 10 spanners to a full toolkit, and of course by then he progressed from a skateboard to a motorcycle. By then, Loud quickly became his middle name. As we all remember, when Donuts with the motorcycle became his personal signature on our street, the next street, and the next street. So he really did earn his place in the naughty corner. Our hearts are a mix of emotions as we reflect on the days of football in the road, rain or shine. Willing or unwilling, we attended every single one of your countless parades and airport runs, which was always a good time. Raftabouts, car shows, a corridor, and every and all other events, you had to make your presence known. You grew up too fast, in a home overflowing with who's in charge of which chores, the good, the bad, the ugly. It was an unforgettable roller coaster ride. It is difficult to say goodbye to a little brother who always behaved like a big brother. You always showed up at the most needed hour to give your support and assistance. Even in your last days, you supported us and prepared us for today by giving us the strength and understanding to now open the doors for you with prayers, love, and Bhagwan's blessings to let you go. You and Valerie absolutely refuse to grow old. But more than anything, we are happy that you both will continue to have each other. Your tasks are done here. We pray that your soul is at peace. We will remember the good times and see you smiling back at us as you journey on. Till we meet again, fly high, and you will truly remain forever young. I will now pass you on to Alina.
Sitaram, good evening. My name is Alina Bhim. And I'm here to speak on behalf of all of the nieces and nephews of Aljero Bhim. Uncle Jero was the youngest of the 11 Sahadeo and Evelyn Bhim children, and therefore probably the one who spoiled us the most. There was never a shortage of ice cream or choppy once Uncle Jero was around. He made it his duty to make everything fun and enjoyable for us. I remember for one sleepover at Grandma's house, we had green and pink macaroni and cheese. And I'm not talking about the pre-made stuff. I mean, make it yourself, food coloring, green and pink macaroni and cheese. I think that's a memory that would stay with us forever. He was the uncle who always made you laugh and mess you up at the same time. He always kept you on your toes. You could be laughing and then be the one laughed at. As our uncle, he made sure to teach the boys different skills, like welding and playing football, but he never let the girls out. We all grew up with questionable taste in music thanks to him. He always encouraged us girls to do the things that were totally out of our scope. He made sure that we knew that no task is ever too big for us, even supporting us in our careers and making sure that we knew that we were brilliant and worked very hard to get where we are. He was big on self-esteem, but even bigger on the fact that we must always have plans in motion, and the biggest one being another source of income. Be it a craft or a simple private job, it was always important to never have all your eggs in one basket. He exemplified everything he taught us because he was the type of person who was always up to something. Even last month, he told me he was trying his hand at trading and the stock market and that he was taking an online course and learning the basics. He was always open and eager to learn and try things. Coming down to the past couple of years, things were difficult for him. After his diagnosis, many days were good days, but he always found the strength to keep fighting even when there weren't good times. But as we all know, everything has a breaking point, and with the way God's plan played out over these past couple of weeks, maybe he reached his, and God called too. Regardless of the reason, Uncle Jero, from the beginning of his nieces and nephews' lives, has never failed to be there for us, to make sure that we believe in ourselves and shown us that life is worth living and fighting for. And I think that's how we're going to remember him. As a fighter, as a supporter, and as the best uncle.
I'll just now do a small version. Ajandiri mihe hame insan ज्ञान का सूरज चमकारी भगवान आज अंधेरे में है हमें इंसान ज्ञान का सूरज चमकारी भगवान बत कर ही हम राह दिखारी भगवान राह दिखारी बत कर ही हम राह दिखारी भगवान राह दिखारी कर्म कर्म पर किरण बिचारी भगवान किरण बिचारी अन को प्रभु करारी ज्योति से पहचान, ज्योति से पहचान, आज अंधेरे में है हमें निशान, ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दे भगवान। हम तो है संतान तिहारी, प्रभु संतान तिहारी, हम तो है संतान तिहारी, प्रभु संतान तिहारी। तेरी दया की हम अधिकारी, प्रभु ही हम अधिकारी। दुनिया हो सुखी हमारी, दुनिया हो सुखी हमारी, ऐसा दे वरदान, ऐसा दे वरदान। आज अंधेरे में है हमें ज्ञान का सूरज चमका दे भगवान। थैंक यू।
Thank you very much, ladies, Alana and Carissa, for those expressions. Is there anybody amongst us who would like to say a few words before we do our closing?
Sitaram, everyone. My name is Avinash Maharaj. I have known Aljero for over 20 years, and Jero has been a big brother to me. I would like to speak on behalf of a special group of friends to Jero. That would be myself, my brother Akish, Manzo, Ricardo, Randy, Akin, and Bunny. For years, Jero would make things fun. We would play football, we would go fishing, we would take Astra 323 and the Jimny and Kerry Jr., well, Antonio now, to fishing with us. And Jero would eat Junior's lunch and make Junior cry. There's a lot of fun and games, going to farewells. Mightn't be the correct farewell all the time, but being lost in penal and so on, there's a lot of memories. But apart from all the good memories, one thing is that Jero has lifted this group to the point where we are all successful in life now. He always instilled education and the balance between education and fun. He would look at us and see if we're slacking off and pull us aside individually and make us look at life in a different aspect and plan in 5-year successions. Because of Jero, I actually met my wife, and Andrew as well, going to raftabout. And the first instance of raftabout with Jero and Andrew was that I couldn't swim. And we was on a raft, basically, in the middle of the sea. Jero said, "You can't swim it?" I was like, "No." Jero pushed me off the raft without a life jacket and said, "Well, figure it out now." The important life lesson is that Jero has always taught us to go beyond what we think we could go. I would not have been in IT in the profession that I am because of Jero. I have known my wife for 15 years, married 9, because of Jero. He played the bigger role in the wedding for us. But Jero would never be forgotten. He will always be in our hearts. It's sad to say that we have to say goodbye so soon, but everything comes within a reason. And I want the family to know that I'll be there still. Jero has fought and he has fought hard, and I will love him until. Thank you.
Words of interactions with Aljero. I say many times, I've said this on almost all my funerals. You know these boys and they know that. And I've been doing funerals for many, many years. I've said this in almost all my funerals. I don't know what it is like to feel for any one of you all here. My personal friends, if I could check them, if I could count them, there are few actually, but they're still alive. My father, my mother, my grandmother, all the close people to me, they are still alive. I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what it is to have your feeling. The only person that I would have lost You know, way back when, probably of maybe the rock that I am today, is my grandfather. When I was at the age of 17, I lost my grandfather, and we grew up together. I grew up from a baby together with him. And having lost him is because I then came to a sense of understanding what life really and truly is about. Yes, you can have everything that you want, but really and truly, what you need is always presented to you. What you want, sometimes it is there, but it goes away. So we got to learn to appreciate the things that we need and the things that we have. And from the individual's life, you know, hearing from you all, hearing from Rakesh and from the nieces, is because the bhajan which was rightfully sung, and one of the verses says, Teri daya par hum adhikari, Prabhu hai hum adhikari. Adhikari means to be a forefronter, a leader. Let me be a leader in your eyes, O Divine Lord, in your army. Let me be a leader, let me be a forefronter, let me show the way, let me blaze the pathway for others to follow and to help others to follow together with me. Bless me, Divine Lord, so that I can be that leader. And in so doing, what is expected? What do we expect by being a leader? Not to get everything that we want or to be selfish. Dunya hoye sukhi hamari. Bless me so that I can be a leader and that I can help make this world a very happy place. This is the blessing that I would want in my life. So if there's anything that any one of us should want, is to make ourselves better, yes, better than who we are, and at the very same time, to help others in the process. Let's all stand at this point in time. Is there anybody else who would like to say a few words? Yes or no?
Good afternoon, everyone. I was saying to myself, I hope that the guy says that someone else could say something else about Aljero. My name is Ricardo Nelson. As I said, Aljero is one of our big brother. I would not have been going this cover. It wasn't for Aljero. He pushes you. I had a final exam that I had to do, and he paid for the exams, and I always thank God for sorry. He paid for my final exam. He asked me about the exam. I told him, I said, well, hey, I may have to do it next time because I didn't have the cash. And he paid for the exam, and I never forgot that. You know, and there's a lot of stories we could give about Aljero. You know, a lot of us today, as Avina said before, we are in the professional world today because Aljero would have pushed us. He would always ask if you pass the exam, if you're studying, if you're doing your work. You know, I learned a lot from him, and Aljero, we love you, man. You know, we love you. Thanks for allowing us to share.
It's a trying time. It's a situation that many of us we take a long period to recover from. But what makes it easy for us to recover is to remember the lessons that would have been learned by the individual, that we would have learned from him. If we had to express our gratitude, what he would want from you all is to continue living your life and making yourselves better. Not stopping and staying in one place, but to be pushing ahead. Let us all clasp hands, let us close our eyes and pray, asking of the Divine Lord, if we would have made any mistakes now or even before now, if we would have erred against the individual, your guidance and your protection upon all members of the family and on all those whom he leave behind. Hari Om, Hari Om. Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Sri Krishnaya Namo Namah. Om Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. अरे माँ पितृ भगवान की जय। राम नाम सत्य है, राम नाम सत्य है, राम नाम सत्य है, यही सबका घट है of the flowers. Have a seat, devotees. Thank you all very much, and this brings us to the end of our Ankeshi Sanskar for this point. The body, as we understand, would make a route back to home and then proceed to Belgroves, where we expect to meet by 6 o'clock.